50 years old. That is how long the average person in the country of Chad lives to. Only 50 years. For many people in Chad, life is not a right but a privilege. But why should this be? Why should thousands of innocent Chad citizens die before change happens? Why should countless people be displaced in the Darfur region before change happens? Life is and should not be something that the government can take away from its people. The government should not be allowed to play God with its citizens. The right to life is one of the most violated human rights in the country of Chad. It is also the most important right in the Universal Declarations of Rights. In 2014, Chad's death rate was the 15th highest death rate in the world. In 2015, 56 million people died in Chad. Alone in the Darfur region, 2.5 million people have been displaced from their homes, and of that number, many are dead or missing. Over 80% of the population of Chad are farmers, and their whole life, they just farm. No education, no opportunity given to them by their government to help their families succeed, not just to survive. If this constant violence and genocide in Chad ceases to exist, many brilliant minds who have insightful thoughts that can improve the human condition can now break free from their chains and help our world become a better place to live. Chad, like many of its neighboring countries in Central Africa, is a poor nation that is built around an agricultural economy. Since its origins in 1960, this nation has been engulfed in war and violence between many military groups. In the 1970s, infamous Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi led an invasion of Chad, which ultimately failed in 1988. The tension from that incident still hangs around and is the barrel of the gunpowder waiting to explode. Also, in the early 2000s, there were many rebellions and civil wars that plagued Chad. Although many of these civil wars and rebellions have been put down thanks to strategic peace treaties, the tension between the government and its people has not simmered down. One way to stop this endless loop of violence in Chad is to set up a new militaristic government after overthrowing the current one. This new government should be set up by the United Nations so that other countries' political views do not affect how this country is now run. This new, temporary government will educate the general population and let the country heal itself from the atrocities that it has faced in their history. By educating these people, the temporary government can move out after it has deemed the new educated government clean and definitely not corrupt. By doing this, the UN and the rest of the world can set up a good government Chad that does not arise from violence and that governs its citizens not based on the fear that the people have for their lives, but the love that the people have for their government and their country. This new government that is built should stay for the long haul. The current government is one of the worst in the world, so taking it down is the most important aspect of my three-step plan. According to a commission's report written by the government, 977 people have been directly killed by the government and its related activities. This, with the 1,700 injured and the 34 raped, shows just how ruthless the Chad government really is. Because the ICC have already taken down the Sudanese president, another international organization, the UN can now take down the Chad government. Also, the majority of the population of Chad live under $2 a day, and many are uneducated. By empowering them with the gift of knowledge, they can learn to think for themselves instead of getting brainwashed by the government. This new three-step plan isn't perfect, but because of the situation in Chad, this plan has the highest chance of succeeding. If we follow my three-step plan, the right to life will not be eradicated, but it will be cut down heavily. 56.2 million lives will not have been lost in vain, and they should not be lost in vain. With the help of the UN, we can now empower millions of people, many who just survived their whole lives, and give them the power to strive. The UN needs the help of us, to donate and to aid their help. Throughout Chad's history, they have been engulfed in violence and chaos, so stability is what they need to set up a strong central government. With the help of a powerful outside organization, this three-step plan can be executed in around 5 to 10 years, but the people whose lives this has bettered will last a lifetime. 50 years old. That, as you know, is the average life expectancy of a person in Chad. Let's increase that number, not as individuals, but as the world. Thank you.